Hello, you are watching the Module 2 Medical Assisting Clinic Side MA103 course video training. So course MA103 is our Fundamentals of Assisting course. This course is going to include the Ross Edge program. I will be working in the Student Success Section 2. It will also require us to be in a few books. First book is the KINS Medical Assistant Fundamentals book. We'll be in chapters 29, Vital Signs, chapters 30, Assisting with a Physical Examination. We'll be in the Mastering Healthcare Terminology book, only in chapter 16, which is with oncology. This is to tie in radiology as associated to patient care, as well as our Math Skills for Health Professionals text. We'll be in chapter 5, Ratio and Proportion, in chapter 9, Application of Measurement and Dosage Conversion. We'll only be in a couple pages in that chapter, pages 226 and 230, as well as students will be using the SimText program. That is a program that students will use to practice their proficiency simulations. The proficiencies that will be completed in this module will be measuring a patient's height and weight, obtaining oral temperature using a digital thermometer, obtaining an axillary temperature using a digital thermometer, obtaining a temperature using a tympanic thermometer, assessing the patient's radial pulse and respiratory rate, obtaining an apical pulse and a radial pulse, determining a patient's blood pressure, performing a pulse oximetry, obtaining and documenting patient information, use of proper body mechanics, Fowler and semi-Fowler's positions, supine position, lithotomy position, Sims position, prone position, knee chest position, assisting provider with a physical exam, as well as a fecal occult blood test, which again ties us into the oncology section of the medical terminology text I just mentioned. So you will have quite a few proficiencies that will be needed to pass the course. If you have a large class, it may be a good idea for you to meet with your campus supervision and determine whether a teaching assistant is available to help you. Many of these proficiencies can be checked off and practiced at the same time. What I'll usually do is have students come up in groups of 2. One is a medical assistant, one is a patient, and have them show me the patient positions using the classroom examination table. Those usually go pretty quick. And the temperature, pulse, respirations will go fairly quickly. I think the one that takes the most time for students to grasp and to become proficient at is the blood pressure. They will be spending a lot of time practicing blood pressure. So the blood pressure should be within 4 to 6 points of what you hear. If you have not already explored the equipment in your classroom, make sure that you can find and use the teaching stethoscope, which allows you to hear and listen at the same time as the students when they are coming up with a blood pressure. This course will also require that you have fecal occult blood tests available and gowns, or actually the sheets that you'll need for patient positioning. Students do not have to take their clothing off, so a sheet would be sufficient. And as well as making sure that you have enough blood pressure cuffs that are in good working order in your class. So you have a little bit of work to do to prepare yourself for getting ready to teach this course. Also, here's a thought: make sure that your electronic scale has a battery or a backup battery in it, and that your pulse oximetry finger adapters are working properly. Okay, so let's take a look at our course. Course is set up the same as you're used to. This course will include the bloodborne pathogen section for your students. Your new students are required to watch the bloodborne pathogens video. While they are watching the video, you can have students practice their vital signs. Some of your students will have had a quick tutorial on how to do this and should be practicing all along. So by the time they get to this section, depending when they started the course, some of them just should be pretty good at doing their vitals, and it will just be a matter of refining their skill. Then we have our e-texts. So you'll be using those 3 books in class. Your website links. Sim texts that the students will be working through are obtaining the adult vital signs and obtaining pediatric vital signs. These are required by your students to practice. They will get a completion grade for practicing these. I suggest you get them to practice these as often as possible, and they can also access this with any internet connection that they might have outside of class. Then there are the resources, the online programs. There will be some graded SurePath lessons that students will have to take screenshots of and upload to Canvas for you to record. And then SimChart for more practice and documentation, as well as recording any proficiencies that they do. Work with your administrative instructor if you find you're running out of time for them to document the proficiencies that they have practiced, which would be their vital signs. They can do that hopefully on the administrative side when there's time. There is a clinic syllabi that students will need to review and understand. There are 3 row assignments that are required in this module. The clinic ICA section that you can use as optional ICA if you choose to be graded, or you can use these as activities, work together through them, or have students work through them and go over the answers together in class, however you see fit and where you feel your students need some extra practice. Then we come to our days. So the days correspond with the lesson plan. Make sure that you are following the lesson plan and showing the required videos. Many students will have, tend to have math anxiety, so keep that in mind when you're reviewing and going over the ratio and proportion section of your course. They will have a ratio and proportion practice ICA that is graded. I believe that they have more than one attempt to achieve a good grade on that. And then you'll see that as you go through that there are other videos that you can show in class and games that students can access, as well as their student resources in SurePath. Ross Edge, like I said, is mandatory in this module. If you are new to Ross Edge, you'll go to rossedge.com. You'll, for your very first time, need to set up an account. Please use your Ross email account and set up a password. Instructors do not have any different access than students. So if there are any graded quizzes that you have to grade, I suggest that you work through those quizzes yourself and find the answers. It's not very difficult. It should be done pretty easily without too much effort on your part. I've signed in. The student success that we'll be using in this module will be for section 2. So we'll go to student success at the top, and then you go to managing to change your attitude. There's a PowerPoint available for you to work through this section with your students if you so choose, and there are videos to show. The videos will correspond with the lesson plan, so you'll know when to show them. Here is the workbook section. As you click on that, students' workbook will open. It'll take them right to the section. You can work through this together if you like. You can put this up on the board, or you can have students read this ahead of time and then critique what they know and talk about the topics through your PowerPoint, however you see fit. Okay, so there's the workbook. Here are the videos that you'll be required to show in class. And then here are the assignments for this section. Again, these will be referred to in the lesson plan and the day of Canvas that they will be completed. And then here's a quiz. I think Ross Edge is wonderful. It does bring up a lot of topics, and it does open up dialogue for discussion on how to deal with certain challenges that come up in a student's life. And as we know, attitude is a big factor in success. So plenty of things for you to talk about and discover together. Okay, so let's take a quick look at our assignment section. Students do not have access to this section. This is for instructors only. So here will be our in-class assignment section. This is a quicker way for you to access assignment and work through it in preparation for this module. So I suggest that you do that. And then here are the row assignments and the proficiencies that students will need to complete. And there are the 3 quizzes in this course. Those quizzes are referred to in the days of your lesson plan. And they are also here. So you can see that quiz 1 is on day 5, quiz 2 is on day 7, quiz 3 will be given on day 9. So kind of a quick access for you. Don't forget that students will also have to take a test on their syntax simulation. So you introduce that as a way to practice, and they can practice that many, many times. And by the time they get halfway through the module, they'll be required to take a simulation test. If they're practicing like they should, the test should be very, very easy for them to pass. This test grade is automatically loaded into Canvas, so there's nothing you need to do but look for the grade. Okay, so I hope that this video was helpful to you. If you have more questions or need help in any way, please reach out to your campus supervision or myself, and we'll do our best to make sure that you have what you need to prepare and be successful in class. Thank you, and have a good rest of your day.